Welcome to today's episode. We'll dive into a fascinating story from the Panchtantra, a collection written by Vishnu Sharma. Dr. Jaswant Rathod is here to share insights. Dr. Rathod, could you set the scene for us?
Certainly, the tale revolves around a sage named Deva Sharma who lived on the outskirts of a village. Known for his wisdom, villagers frequently visited him with gifts which he eventually sold, amassing considerable wealth. His paranoia led him to constantly carry his money bag everywhere.
It's interesting how wealth accumulation can breed distrust. But isn't it paradoxical that the sage, being wise, fell prey to his own fears?
Absolutely, and that's the crux of the story. His excessive greed blinded him, making him vulnerable to deceit. A cunning thief, observing the sage's obsession with his money, devised a plot to steal it by masquerading as a disciple.
This brings up a broader point. How often do we see such dynamics in today's world, where trust is compromised by material obsession?
Very often, unfortunately. In modern contexts, we see parallels in corporate scandals where trust is eroded by greed. Like the sage, many fall into the trap of valuing material wealth over genuine human connection.
Let's delve deeper into the theme of trust and betrayal. Dr. Rathod, what does the sage's experience tell us about human nature?
The sage's tale illustrates a fundamental human flaw, our tendency to trust based on superficial judgments. Despite his wisdom, Deva Sharma failed to see through the thief's facade. This error isn't uncommon. We often misjudge character based on appearances.
Indeed, and the story also highlights the thief's role. How does this reflect on the idea of opportunism in human behavior?
Opportunism thrives on others' vulnerabilities. The thief, seeing the sage's blind spot, exploited it for personal gain. This mirrors real-world scenarios where individuals take advantage of systemic weaknesses or personal naivete.
It seems there's a lesson in balancing trust and skepticism. How can we apply this in everyday situations?
A nuanced approach is key. While trust is essential for relationships, discerning trustworthiness requires patience and observation. Balancing openness with caution can prevent such betrayals in both personal and professional spheres.
Moving on, let's discuss the moral lessons this story imparts. Dr. Rathod, what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
The tale warns against unchecked greed and misplaced trust. The sage lost everything due to his greed and failure to scrutinize his disciple. Similarly, the thief's actions highlight the destructive nature of deceit, harming both the deceiver and the deceived.
Fascinating. How can these lessons from ancient texts be relevant today, especially in the context of ethical behavior?
These timeless lessons remind us that ethical behavior is foundational to society's well-being. In today's fast-paced world where shortcuts and deception might seem tempting, adhering to ethical principles ensures sustainable success and harmony.
And what about the consequences of ignoring these lessons?
Ignoring these lessons can lead to a breakdown of trust and relationships both personally and professionally. The erosion of ethical standards can result in societal harm, much like the chaos caused by the thief's betrayal.
In our final segment, let's explore the future implications of such traditional morals. Dr. Rathod, do you see these stories influencing modern ethical frameworks?
Absolutely. These stories serve as foundational narratives that help shape ethical frameworks by instilling core values. They offer a lens through which we can assess modern dilemmas, guiding us towards more principled decisions.
Can you provide an example of how this might play out in a contemporary setting?
Consider corporate governance. Integrating these moral lessons can foster cultures of accountability and transparency, reducing instances of fraud and misconduct. Companies that prioritize ethics often see long-term success and trust from stakeholders.
Looking ahead, how can societies ensure these lessons aren't lost in the fast-evolving digital world?
Education plays a crucial role. By embedding ethical teachings in curricula, societies can cultivate future generations that value integrity. Additionally, leveraging technology to spread these narratives can help maintain their relevance.
Written by Vishnu Sharma, is a collection of fables that offers timeless wisdom. Dr. Rathod, Can you elaborate on how these stories manage to stay relevant across centuries?
Certainly, the Panchatantra's narratives are woven with moral lessons that transcend time, such as honesty and perseverance. These are universal values. For example, the story of the monkey and the crocodile teaches the importance of wit over brute force.
Those are indeed powerful lessons. However, some argue that modern contexts differ vastly from ancient ones. How do you respond to that?
While contexts evolve, human nature remains constant. The stories use animals to depict human traits, making them relatable. Even today, strategic thinking and diplomacy are crucial skills as they were in Vishnu Sharma's time.
It's fascinating how these traits are mirrored through animals. Looking forward, do you see a role for Panchatantra in contemporary education? Absolutely. The Panchatantra has laid the foundation for numerous global fables, influencing works like Aesop's fables. Its cross-cultural appeal is evident as it's been translated into many languages.
Its influence is undeniable, however some might say other cultural fables overshadow it internationally. What are your thoughts?
While it's true that Western fables often receive more attention, the Panchatantra's symbolism and storytelling depth have inspired countless artists and writers globally, fostering a rich tapestry of cross-cultural narratives.
Given its wide-ranging impact, how can the Panchatantra further inspire future storytellers and creators?
By exploring its intricate tales, creators can harness its rich symbolism for new mediums, be it films or digital storytelling. The narrative techniques offer endless creative inspiration. The Panchatantra is known for its engaging storytelling. Dr. Rathod, what makes its narrative style so captivating?
The stories are cleverly woven using animals to symbolize complex human emotions. This not only entertains but also imparts practical life lessons like leadership and strategic thinking. An example is the tale of the lion and the rabbit, which emphasizes cleverness over strength.
Some critics might argue that using animals could oversimplify human complexities. What's your perspective on this?
The simplicity is its strength. By stripping down to core traits, the tales highlight fundamental human behaviors. This clarity aids in understanding deeper psychological aspects.
Looking ahead, how can these storytelling elements be integrated into modern educational frameworks? Integrating the Panchatantra into curricula can enrich cultural understanding. As a historical treasure, it offers insights into ancient societal values and traditions, fostering appreciation for diverse heritages.
While educational, some may feel it doesn't address contemporary issues. How can Panchatantra be made more relevant today?
By contextualizing its lessons to current life scenarios, educators can draw parallels between ancient wisdom and modern challenges, such as ethical decision-making in the digital age.
So you're suggesting a reinterpretation for modern settings. How do you envision its role in shaping future generations?
By fostering critical thinking and ethical reasoning, Panchatantra can guide future leaders to make moral choices. Promoting a harmonious penned by Vishnu Sharma over 2,000 years ago is a remarkable collection of fables emphasizing moral lessons. Dr. Rathod, can you tell us how these stories continue to resonate with readers today?
Absolutely. Despite its age, the Panchatantra offers universal truths applicable to modern life. For instance, the monkey and the crocodile story highlights the triumph of intelligence over brute force. A clever monkey uses his wits to outsmart a crocodile, illustrating the enduring value of wisdom.
That's fascinating, but one might argue that in today's world, physical prowess often overshadows intellectual acumen. How do these tales address such a dichotomy?
It's true that society sometimes valorizes strength over wisdom. However, the Panchatantra underscores that intellectual dexterity often leads to lasting success. With globalization, mental agility is crucial for navigating complex social landscapes, much like the clever rabbit outsmarting the lion.
How do you see these lessons being adapted for the future?
Moving forward, integrating these tales into educational curricula can foster critical thinking among youth. As we advance technologically, emphasizing wisdom through stories like these could prepare future leaders for unforeseen challenges.
Friendship is a recurrent theme in the Panchtantra. Dr. Rathod, how do stories like the Four Friends reflect on human relationships?
These stories portray friendship as a source of strength and support, as seen with the deer, crow, turtle, and mouse helping each other. Such narratives teach that true friends stand by us in adversity, a lesson as relevant today as it was centuries ago.
Yet trust can be fragile. The monkey and the wedge warns of misplaced trust. How do these stories balance the ideal of trust with its potential pitfalls?
Great question. While promoting trust, the Panchtantra also warns of its misuse through tales of betrayal. This duality mirrors real life where discernment in relationships is crucial. In a world where digital interactions are rampant, these lessons remind us to evaluate whom we trust carefully.
Looking ahead, how can these stories guide young generations in forming genuine connections?
By introducing these stories early, children can learn the value of trust and the consequences of naivety. This can cultivate a generation that values genuine relationships over superficial connections.
The Panchtantra offers profound insights into the dangers of greed. Dr. Rathod, how do stories like The Greedy Jackal highlight this theme?
The greedy jackal's tale vividly illustrates greed's destructive nature. By indulging excessively, the jackal becomes trapped, a metaphor for how greed can ensnare us in life. This moral is crucial in today's fast-paced, consumer-driven society.
However, some argue that ambition and desire drive progress. How do these stories navigate this fine line?
The Panchtantra distinguishes between ambition and greed. While ambition inspires growth, unchecked greed leads to downfall. Stories like the Brahmin and the mongoose warn against rash decisions driven by greed. It's about balance and conscious decision-making.
How can we apply these insights to future financial and ethical challenges?
By embedding these lessons into ethical education, we can foster a society that values honesty over greed. As we face global challenges like resource scarcity, these narratives can guide sustainable and ethical practices.
Leadership is another pivotal theme in the Panchtantra. Dr. Rathod, how do stories like The Lion and the Clever Rabbit convey lessons in leadership?
These stories teach that true leadership is rooted in wisdom and strategy rather than sheer force. The clever rabbit outwits the lion not through strength but through strategic thinking, demonstrating that effective leaders must be adaptable and wise.
In today's hierarchical structures, is there room for such strategic leadership? What do you foresee as the role of these stories in cultivating future leaders?
By integrating these fables into leadership training, we can nurture leaders who value wisdom and foresight. As global challenges become more complex, leaders inspired by such narratives will be better equipped to navigate and address them.